at the most critical point in this campaign, where everything's on the line for Trump, disaster is hitting. We're not going to go through what we talk about every day on a bunch of different fronts when it comes to that. But instead, in a pretty unprecedented way, one prominent Republican after another coming out and saying, I disagree with Kamala Harris on a bunch of policies. I am a lifelong conservative, but Trump's a disaster. And let's go through this. Let's start with someone we haven't ever talked about, which is the son of John McCain, Jimmy McCain. And he's never spoken out publicly about Trump that I'm aware of. And we're getting reporting now that he is for the first time. And he's changing his party affiliation to Democratic. And he's voting for Kamala Harris. And I'll show you some other examples. Trump being shocked over and over again by just how many people who were so loyal to the party that he now leads, but know how much of a threat he is.
This is fascinating. We have not heard from Jimmy McCain really at all on these types of issues. What did he tell you?
Yeah, Phil, and look, the fact that he's speaking out right now, he really doesn't take lightly, right? Because he never has spoken publicly about Donald Trump before, but he has decided to now because of what he saw last week at Arlington National Cemetery, which he believes is a violation of the men and women that are buried there. If you'll recall, of course, Trump did visit the cemetery last week at the invitation, he says, of these Gold Star families who lost their family members during the Abbey Gate bombing in 2021 in Afghanistan. And he posed in front of graves and he, put a thumbs up and he was smiling. And Jimmy McCain, who had actually just returned from a 7-month deployment to the Middle East to a base where 3 U.S. service members had been killed just weeks before he arrived there, he really saw that as deeply inappropriate and deeply insulting to the people that are buried in that cemetery.
And so that was the straw that broke the camel's back for him. And so much courage, so much credit I want to give for the courage of Jimmy McCain in doing this. Think about going this many years and not, after everything Trump did, everything Trump said about Jimmy McCain's father, and now having to go ahead and make the announcement. Then we move on from that. Someone who's been speaking out against Trump for a long time, but who refused to say she endorsed Biden, has now made an endorsement. NBC News reports former Representative Liz Cheney on Wednesday endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris for president, the latest high-profile Republican endorsement for Democrat. The majority of people who watch the show on a regular basis aren't actually subscribed to the channel. If you can make sure you are by clicking that subscribe button, easy, free, simple, but makes all the difference. I greatly appreciate it to help us get the word out. Back to the video. Here is this.
Would you like to announce who you're endorsing in 2024?
Because we're here in North Carolina, I think it is crucially important for people to recognize not only is what I've just said about the danger that Trump poses something that should prevent people from voting for him, but I don't believe that we have the luxury of writing in candidates' names, particularly in swing states. And as a conservative, as someone who believes in and cares about the Constitution, I have thought deeply about this. And because of the danger that Donald Trump poses, not only am I not voting for Donald Trump, but I will be voting for Kamala Harris in this election.
Yes, yes, yes. That's how I feel. Woo-wee! That's how I also feel. I do want to play for you. We talked about George Conway, his anti-psychopath pack. One of the wildest ads I've ever seen, so we'll get to that. But first, let's keep going through these examples. Something you just don't see on the Democratic side, or vice versa. You don't see Democrats who have gone up the ranks in Democratic politics like some of these individuals have. Liz Cheney at one point was like the top, I think the third most powerful person in the Republican Party in the House or something in leadership. She was a top dog. Adam Kinzinger. And the son of John McCain, and them having to come out and say, we can't do this to the country, number one, to our Constitution, but to our party. If we're being selfish, why would we inflict more Trump on the Republican Party? It's not electorally beneficial. It's not beneficial in the accomplishments it yields. Why would we allow this? Because they're scared. But Liz Cheney is not. Adam Kinzinger is not.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm Adam Kinzinger, and I am proud to be in the trenches with you as part of this sometimes awkward alliance that we have to defend truth, defend democracy, and decency. I was just a kid when I was drawn to the party of Ronald Reagan, to his vision of a strong America, the shining city on a hill. I was a Republican for 12 years in Congress, and I still hold on to the label. I never thought I'd be here, but listen, you never thought you'd see me here, did you? But I've learned something about the Democratic Party, and I want to let my fellow Republicans in on the secret. The Democrats are as patriotic as us.
Gosh, I don't know off the top of my head Adam Kinzinger's voting record. I'm sure he has votes and has stood for things that I would very much oppose, but on a very surface level, human level, sort of a likable guy. Just a really likable guy there, and doing something that is going to bring onto him, as Liz Cheney, as Tommy McCain, Jimmy McCain. Why did I say Tom McCain? Jimmy McCain will bring threats and attacks and all sorts of stuff to them and their family, but they're doing it because they really do care about the country and our democracy. And this is all happening again at just the worst time. Because I know you don't think it matters if you've been a Democrat and you're going to continue to be a Democrat, but for people who are sort of wishy-washy, I don't like Trump, but can I vote for Kamala Harris? Seeing Adam Kinzinger, someone they probably respected at some point, seeing a Liz Cheney, it actually makes a difference. Seeing Mike Pence not endorse Trump, it makes a difference. And in the case of Adam Kinzinger, I've heard him say many times, I'm trying to provide permission to people who have similar politics as me, who care about the country, who identify with being patriotic, who love America, to understand they can vote Democratic in this election, and that's not them forfeiting any arguments or forfeiting any ideals they hold on to. And so it does provide a permission structure for other more independent or moderate Republicans, which is really good. Now, similar to this subject, you have Anti-Psychopath PAC putting out this ad.
Hey, Donald.
Governor Chris Sununu called Trump crazy, but
All your friends, all the people that have worked with you,
He's a very, very flawed man.
they all think you're nuts.
The man cannot tell the truth, but he combines it with being a narcissist.
He's a populist, authoritarian narcissist.
Donald Trump is not fit to be president of the United States.
Our country can't be a therapy session for a troubled man like that.
Governor Sununu called Trump crazy and said if he was in a mental institution, he wouldn't get out.
Turn over the nuclear codes of the United States to an erratic individual.
Serious character issues.
He constantly engages in reckless conduct.
Goes and he starts to say these wacky things.
But he's not fit to be president of the United States.
A consummate narcissist.
A narcissist at a level I don't think this country's ever
Donald
seen.
Trump's literally insane. And I think people are scared of him, and they should be scared of him.
Wholly unfit to be president of the United States in every way you can think of.
Learn more at psychopac.org.
Woo! Wow. That's a doozy. All these people who worked so closely with Trump say he's crazy. Maybe you should start believing it. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments, and support the show by clicking the join button below.